Whatever it was, the West Indies did not turn up for the first day's play of the second test against Australia. I cannot believe that in Phil Simmons' final test match as coach of the West Indies, we got that performance from the team. Hello everyone, good afternoon, and welcome to the Cricket Forum. Thank you for tuning in, and may God bless you and you're having a wonderful day. Please slash a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Last night, we tried to build enthusiasm. We know it was a fight of David against Goliath. We know that Australia was a stronger team. We have hope. We have expectation. We tempered those hope and those expectations because we know that the battle will be hard. But we expect our team to come to the party. We expect our team to turn up. I don't know if it is a number of injuries affecting the team, or is it that the cold at Adelaide, because after the sun set, the evening became very cold and the night. Whatever it was, I just did not expect such a limp performance from the West Indies. At the end of the day's play, Australia were 330 for 3, recovering from 131 for 3 when Older got Steve Smith out, bowled and caught. It was the first time the West Indies was dismissing Steve Smith since 2015, and he went for a duck. And we had enthusiasm. We were filled with hope. We were right in the game. But then a lethargic fielding performance, coupled with some indifferent bowling displayed, Australia did not lose another wicket for the rest of the day's play. But it all started badly from the beginning. As expected, Australia won the toss and batted. I said that last night. I said if Australia won the toss, they were going to bat. And if West Indies win the toss, they would have put Australia into bat. So anyway, I expected West Indies to bowl first, but I expected them to bowl better. Just like they did in the first test match on that first morning, I expect them to bowl better. But the first sign of weakness was shown in the second over. When Older was running in to bowl, the area where the drop-in pitch meet the natural layout of the field was not flush. It means it was not even. And Older had a problem with his run-up. He was not able to run in smoothly, and he changed to round the wicket instead of bowling over the wicket. In my opinion, the West Indies should not have continued to play until that situation was sorted out. I believe, it is my opinion, and I believe that if Australia was bowling, that situation would have been sorted out before the game continued. And I'm speculating here because of some comments that have been made by a man named James Erickson, who is the manager of David Warner. And that is why I think the situation with the pitch, the drop-in pitch not being flush with the natural field, I have to ask question if this was deliberately done to set up the West Indies team for that discomfort at the beginning of their innings. And you may ask why? But what if Australia were going to bowl first? Now remember that the toss was spun 30 minutes before the start of the game. And if my speculation is right, and my questioning, why I'm questioning this is right, somehow somebody would get around and said, you know, this is not right. Let's fix it. I think that's what would have happened if Australia was bowling first. Maybe it was done deliberately. And these are the statements that which forced me to believe that it is possible. It is possible that it was done deliberately. Here is what James Erickson, David Warner's manager, have to say. This was in 2016 at Hobart, after South Africa bowled out Australia for 85 runs. And Australia lost the match by an innings and 80 runs. And while they were in the changing room, James Erickson, the manager of David Warner, said 2 senior executives were in the changing room in Hobart, 2016. Australia had just lost by an innings and 80 runs to South Africa. And basically were berating the team for losing against South Africa. That's what he told SCN Radio in Australia. The 2 senior executives were in the changing room in Hobart and basically berating the team. No damage done there. That happens all the while. The next part. And Warner said, we have got to reverse swing the ball. And the only way we can reverse swing the ball is basically by tampering with it. That's what James Erickson, the manager of David Warner, is claiming. That's what he said to SCN Radio. In the presence of 2 executives from Cricket Australia, Warner said, we have got to reverse swing the ball. And the only way we can reverse swing the ball is basically by tampering with it. So they were told to do it. That's what David Warner said. They were told to do it. And the manager went on to say, David Warner, he has shut up, he protected Cricket Australia. That is what he's saying. Now, according to David Warner managers James Erickson, if this is true, and we are to believe that this is true, that executives of Cricket Australia, although he did not call any name, told the team to tamper with the ball. And he went on to say many things. You can read it online. He went on to say many things. He said, you'd be blind to believe only 3 persons were involved in it. So if James Erickson, the manager of David Warner, is claiming that executives of Cricket Australia told them to tamper with the ball, it is not unreasonable to speculate and to ask question if Cricket Australia told the ground staff at Adelaide to leave that area unflush, so that when the West Indies bowlers are bowling in the first innings, they will have to encounter that difficulty and will throw them off their game. It is not unreasonable to ask that question. What if Australia was bowling first? Somehow they would have got around to fix it before the game started. That is just my speculation. That is just my reasoning. Because according to Dave Warner, his manager, according to Dave Warner's manager, talking to a radio station in Australia, this Cricket Australian executives instructed the players to tamper with the ball. So what else is Cricket Australia instructing the players and the ground staff to do? What else? What else? Were they the one who told them to leave it flush? Now, as I said, that being aside, West Indies did not bowl well. The next issue that came up, let me take your comments just before 007. In the case of Mindley, if he's unable to take further part in the game, he will not be allowed a substitute. You're only allowed a substitute when there's a concussion, when you get a hit in the head, like what happened to Bono. That's the only time that you're allowed a substitute. Good afternoon, McClack. Good afternoon, Robbie. Good afternoon. How are you? Kurt Ahmed. Good morning. Good afternoon. Odin would be of a better pick than medium pace Minley, and Chase spin bowling is a shame. How much time I must say it? Chase is a part-time spinner. I wish I was there instead. Kurt Anud. Thank you for your comment. Another comment from you. Cornwall should have been there instead. He a much better spinner than Chase. I am sorry, but Chase must get dropped. His bowling is nothing, especially even Australia. Travis Head is a better spinner than Chase. Sandra Majid saying sad, 007, good. I thank you. So we started out, and that was the first thing. I think that was a sign of weakness. I don't think West Indies should have continued to the match unless the era was fixed so that the bowlers could run in smoothly and uninjured. That is my opinion. I just think that the captain should have said, we're not continuing until this era is flush, is made smooth. That is my opinion. The next thing that really bothers me in the match, and some comments alluded to it, Ralston Chase bowled the 10th over of the West Indies bowling innings. The 10th over. Joseph had just gotten the wicket of Warner with the last ball of the 9th over, and Chase came on to bowl. Now, I cannot imagine what the captain was thinking. What was Brathwaite thinking to bring on Chase to bowl the 10th over? He gave Chase 3 overs that went for 20 plus runs. 3 overs, absolutely easing the pressure of the Australian batsmen immediately as Joseph got the wicket. I can't believe the decision. I will come to Chase later in the broadcast in the show. But in here, I'm talking about the decision of the captain to bring on Chase to bowl the 10th over when Joseph had just gotten another wicket. I cannot understand it. That is a poor decision on the part of the captain. Very poor. Now, the third thing that I want to say is that Minley got injured. It appears that it's an hamstring injury at the completion of his second over. I think he started holding his tie after bowling the 5th delivery of the second over. That's when he started bowling his tie. Now, I have some question to ask. What was Minley injured when Jamaica Scorpion leave him out of their Super 50 team in Antigua? Because after Minley had played that first match, what was the injury? I do not know the nature of the injury. I'm not going to tell you that I know what the nature of the injury. It could be anything. It could be a toe bruise. It could be a finger. It could be anything. But I have to ask the question. When Minley was called Friday morning, did a medical test done on him before he left Jamaica? Did a test done? He was at a physical training session with the Jamaican Scorpion when he got the call. So we assume that he was fit. But was there a medical test done? Was he sent, especially he was at the university, was he sent to Dr. Mansingh to do a medical checkup? I am not here saying that anything was wrong with Minley. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just asking if this protocol was considered. Because if these protocols were not considered, you are creating a loophole and you're creating a scenario where the strength of your governance structure has to be questioned, the strength of your protocol. And I, for one moment, am not saying that Minley had this problem before he left Jamaica. I'm not saying that. I'm just asking the question. I'm asking 2 questions here. What was Minley's injury when he did not play for Jamaica after the first match in the Super 50? And had he done a medical before he left Jamaica? The next question that I'm asking, Minley flew about probably anywhere between 28 and 36 hours to go to Australia. We could research that and find out how long that flight is. Anywhere between 28, 36 hours he flew to Jamaica, from Jamaica to Australia. The question I want to ask, did Minley fly first class or he flown in economy? Did he fly first class to Australia or they catch him in economy? That's the next question that I have to ask. Because we have to assume that Minley left Jamaica fit and in good health. And is it that he flown economy instead of first class, and that probably contribute to him having the hamstring injury? I'm just asking these questions. I don't know. I wish Cricket Question this could come forward and tell us that he flown first class and ease our anxiety and let us know that everything was done properly and his hamstring injury is just one of those things. It's just unfortunate. So I wish they would come forward and just, you understand me? I wish they just come forward and just said, listen to me, we did everything. We checked him medically. We know that he is fit. We flew him first class to Australia. But because of the short turnaround time, it was just one of those things that the hamstring went. And we'll be comfortable to know that our cricket body did everything in their power. We'll be very disappointed if he did not fly first class. We'll be very disappointed if they catch him in economy or premium economy for such a long flight to Australia. We'll be very disappointed. And in that scenario, if he did not fly first class, in that scenario, Cricket West Indies should take the blame for the hamstring injury. So I pray to God that he had flown first class to Australia. That's the next thing. Now, in our bowling, we realized, and I look at it. I look at our bowling. Older, 1 for 42 from 21 overs. Good again. An economy of just 2. Thomas got 1 for 43 from 9 overs. He's a bit on the expensive side, but we know Thomas is a part-time bowler. We know Devon Thomas is a part-time bowler. So 1 for 43 from 9 overs is okay. He only bowled 9 overs. I think that persons were saying that, well, Thomas did not bowl anymore. He went for 4.77 runs and over, and he's a part-time bowler. To get nine overs out of your part-time bowler and got a wicket, that's good. That's good. Joseph, 1 for 81 from 21 overs. That's just a little over 3. Now, that's 3 point enough. But then, Joseph is the strike bowler. He's the strike bowler. He's the one who's going to try things. He's the one who's going to bowl the short ball. He's the one who's going to look for the wickets. So that's all right from Joseph as a strike bowler because he's looking wicket and he's bowling at pace. That's all right. Phillips, he didn't go so well in his first 2 spells, but he came back and bowled a good spell in his last spell, supporting Older and Joseph quite well. So I think overall, if you look at it that Phillips was playing only his second test match and his first real match on tour, I think that these bowlers bowl well. Again though, and I'm not blaming Chase. I don't want to call his name. I'm going to say the spinner bowled 14 overs for 66 runs. And that's where the issue lies with our bowling. We need a spinner who's going to go for just around 3 runs per over. And that is why the spinner that we have in Australia as our frontline spinner, although most of us knows that he's not a frontline spinner, and that is why we are asking, are these selectors really watching the cricket? And I don't want to call his name because I don't want anyone to say I'm pressuring him. So I said the spinner that we have in Australia, the spinner, because I really hope that when he bats, I have him batting at number 6. I hope he will give us 100. I hope that Chase will give us 100. I'm not bashing out Chase. I'm saying that his performance today, again, just like in the first test match, does not do the job that we want our spinner to do. We want a spinner not to be bowling 14 overs in a day's play but bowling 25 overs in a day's play for anywhere between 75, 80 runs, 25 overs for 75, 80 runs, so that the pace bowlers can bowl sharp, fast, and short spells. And so that we have a better opportunity to win the match and to bowl out the opposition. Once again, the spinner did not produce as he should. And that is the issue. All that was magnificent. You could say Thomas did what we asked a part-time bowler to do. Joseph and Phillips were average. You know, you can't complain about that anymore. But believe me, if Chase could have given us 25 overs in the day's play for 75, 80 runs, again, I would like to say that I believe that Australia would have lost more wickets and they would not be 330 for 3. And I'm not bashing Chase. I'm just saying that the selectors, West Indies selectors, are letting us down when they do not pick the best spinner in the West Indies. Whether you want to call him a slow bowler or a spinner, the best slow bowler spinner in the West Indies, whosoever your choice is, I've said on many occasions, my choice is Murty. But if your choice is Cornwall, if your choice is Carrier, if your choice is Leacock, if your choice is the guy from the Windward, whosoever your choice is, we will agree that Chase is not as good as any one of these bowlers. And so the West Indies should have picked the best spinner. And that is where we are being let down mostly in Australia. Just before I go to the fielding, I'm just going to take your comments. Phillips, there's a comment here from Thomas did well actually. He had batsman jumping too. Yes, I said he did well. He did well. He went for 40. He went for 40 of his 9 overs, but as a part-time bowler, he did well. The average was a little high. Phillips, yes, I agree. I said that. I said that 007. I said that Phillips did well. Yes, he did well. He did well. I appreciate that. Important to note, Thomas bowling medium pace and not off break. Yes, I saw that he was bowling medium pace. Chase is the weak link in the bowling lineup, and we need O'Dean and O'Shane to back up Joseph. Now, I also think that we need Gabriel. And I'm going to say something about O'Shane and O'Dean. O'Shane has trimmed down tremendously. I saw a picture of O'Shane in Sri Lanka because he's playing in the Sri Lanka T20, the Lanka T20, and he's there. I don't know which team he's representing, but he looked very slim and trim. And I hope that translates to bowling fast again. I really hope that O'Shane will come back to the Caribbean and play for Jamaica in the regional 4-day tournament. O'Shane, I should say, he really looks slim. He really looks trim. He looks strong and he looks good. I saw a picture of him. Really look encouraging. Really look encouraging. As far as O'Dean is concerned, all right, O'Dean needs to get his fitness up, in my opinion. Now, and he needs to lengthen his run up if he's going to play first-class cricket or play test cricket. Otherwise, the injury that he got in 2020, because while playing for Trinidad in 2020, just before COVID, he picked up an injury to a side strain against the Leeward Islands in Trinidad. He left for Trinidad and went with the Trinidadian team to Guyana. And although they picked him for that match, he was unable to complete the match because the side strain got so bad. So he had to do a non-intrusive operation and solve the issue with the side strain. Now, for him to play 4-day cricket, he would need to lengthen his run-up. Because it is my opinion that if he doesn't lengthen his run-up, that side strain will come back. Is he prepared to lengthen his run-up and play 4-day cricket? Only O'Dean can address that. So although he's able to bowl 140, 145 in a 4-day game where he's expected to bowl 15, 20 overs in a day, he will have a little challenge with that run-up bowling 15 to 20 overs in a day. And we saw it in the Super 50 when he bowled 4 overs. We wouldn't say that his breathing was the best. And he would agree and acknowledge that his breathing wasn't the best after 4 overs. Odin and I are very close. Very, very close. I'm very close to Odin. So I'm not bashing him. And these are things that I will tell him to his face. And we probably have an argument over it, but Odin knows that I mean him well, because we are very close. And these are things that I would say to him. Now, I really don't know what his intentions are or what he will do, but I think those are the situation facing Odin. If he intends to play 4-day cricket, he will have to lengthen his run-up and become fitter. As I said, I saw O'Shane, a picture of O'Shane in Sri Lanka, and he looks very, 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 very fit. 007. Odin and O'Shane has to play regional first-class game first. Yes, basically, I was saying that. Chase should never be in Australia in the first place. We have better spinners in the region. Lincoln Smith, I do believe that we have better spinners in the region also. I believe that. Most of us in this chat believe that. Well, tell you again, need wicket-taking bowlers. Yes, Clive Smith, you have said it so many times. You have said it in the comment section. You have said it so many times, Clive Smith. Nobody can blame you. We need wicket-taking bowlers. Like first, we can't take 20 wickets in a test match. Can't win. No way. You have said it so many times, Clive Smith. So many times. And I agree with you. We need wicket-taking bowler. Akeem Jordan or Russian Primus or Kian Arden. Akeem Jordan, Russian Primus, Kian Arden, 3 Barbadian there. 3 Barbadian there. So Barbadian always know to produce good pace bowlers. Odin and O'Shane should have been in Australia. Well, I addressed that earlier. If what you are saying is true, push him for 4-day and 50-50. If what you are saying is true, push him for 4-day and 50-50. You're referring to Odin. Well, it's a decision for Odin to make. What I said that I will talk to him. I will talk to him, but it's a decision for him to make. I think he's presently in the US playing in the US Open. I don't know when he will return to Jamaica, but when he returns to Jamaica and I see him, I catch up with him. I will talk to him if I catch up with him. But we have talked. We have talked. So I hope, but the decision comes down to what he wants to do. They need to break the partnership tomorrow. Yes, for West Indies to stand any chance of winning this match, because as I said from last night, this is a fight between David and Goliath. I do not think we are out of the match quite yet. I don't think so. At 330 for 3, if we come tomorrow morning and go bam, 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 and get some quick wickets, 330 for 3, if that turned to 380 for 7, 380 for 8, we are well in the game. I had predicted 425. If we can get them out for 425, we are still in this game. We must get them out between 425 and 410. We cannot allow them to pass 475. If they pass 475 with their bowling lineup and the strength of their batting and the class of their team, it's going to be impossible for us to win the match from there. If they get 475, we will only be playing for a draw. We cannot allow them to get 475. We must try and get them out for 425 or less. The other thing I want to say about our performance last night was our performance in the field. Our fielding was atrocious. I don't know. I am thinking that maybe it's a lack of fitness. That although we play one good match at Perth, because our fitness is not up to that international standard, we can survive for one good match at Perth, but we cannot come back and repeat it in a second match. Is that our problem? Is that our issue? Is it something that akin to Asafa Powell, the Jamaican sprinter, who was good at winning one race, but when it comes to multiple race events like the Olympics where he has to go 3 rounds, he could not able to win the finals, but on a one-off event, he can win the one-off race? Is it the same thing that is happening to the West Indies team? They can play good in a one-off match like the first test match at Perth. But when it comes to follow up that performance, with all the praise and the encouragement that they got from Perth and all the number of fans that they won after that performance in Perth, is it that they cannot give a good back-to-back performance? Is it that the issue with the West Indies team? Is that the issue? Is it that the team, people complain about too much time is spent talking about fitness and strength and coordination and conditioning? What we should be thinking about is cricket fitness. But in those days, cricketers used to, like, you have a 2 weeks break before test match, or at least a 1 week break. Now it's only days. It's only a days between test matches now. So the fitness level has to be better. And maybe, although the mind of the West Indies players yesterday, they want to move faster, they want to be more energetic in the field, they want to be more intense in the field, they want to show more ambition and more pride. It's just that maybe the body was not allowing them because they were not fit enough. They were not fit enough to put in 2 consecutive good performance in back-to-back test matches. Is that the issue? Why the feeling was so poor yesterday? Just taking your comment. Alzari, Paul, O'Shane, Seals. I understand these comments. I understand. Lol, Philip should bow out. Phil should bow out. You mean Phil Simmons? Yes. Mr. Casanova, good afternoon. I like Seals, but I want quicks. Real good quicks to beat up these batters. I understand. Can you comment on the field in particular, the run-up and the pitch, and also when older, add them out there working on the ground near the wicket? Yes, I did comment on it at the beginning of the show. I did say that the match should have not have started. And I quote, yes, it was a drop in pitch and it was not flush with the original surface. And I said in the beginning that I have to ask question if the Australian had done it deliberately. I was just asking that question. I don't know. And I based my assumption and my speculation on some comments that made by David Warner, manager, about match fixing. And I asked the question, were they told to deliberately leave it that way so that if the West Indies are bowling first, they will encounter these difficulties? But if Australia was to bowl first, remember that the toss been spun 30 minutes before the start of the game. If Australia was going to bowl first, somehow they would have got around to fix it before the match start. That is my speculation. That is a question that I'm asking. Because the pitch, the square, is a drop-in square, as you all know, but it was not flush with the original earth. And I'm saying Australia, known for their perfectionism when it comes to cricket and leaving no stone unturned, I do not see how it was not flush. And that's why I'm asking the question, was it deliberate? And those questions were driven by these comments from David Warner, manager. And Warner said, this is James Erickson, David Warner, manager, speaking about a situation in 2016 after South Africa bowled out Australia for 85 runs and won the match at Hobart by innings and 80 runs. This is James Erickson, David Warner, manager, speaking to a radio station in Australia, SCN. And this is what he said. Let's quote the first part first. This is what James, 2 senior executives were in the changing room in Hobart and basically were berating the team for losing against South Africa. And Warner said, we got to reverse swing the ball. And the only way we can reverse swing the ball is basically by tampering with it. So they were told to do it. He has shut up. He protected Cricket Australia. That's what James Erickson is saying. According to what he's saying is that these executives told the players that they should tamper the ball to get it to reverse swing. And that is why I'm asking the question. Were executives of Cricket Australia told the groundsmen at Adelaide Oval to leave the area unflush to make it uncomfortable for the West Indies bowlers? Is that what happened? I'm just asking the questions. I don't know, but is that what happened? Please, slash a like on the video, share, and subscribe. I really enjoy the show today. I'm just going to supernova. I don't think Australia need to do any sketchy tactics to beat West Indies, but that's just me. Okay, supernova, but yes, and I agree with you saying that. I don't have any problem. I'm just asking the question. Based on these comments coming from David Warner, manager, were they instructed? And we're asking the question, what else are Australian players being instructed to do when they are playing cricket? If according to James Erickson, David Warner, manager, that the team were told so by Cricket Australia and executive to tamper with the ball, what else are they telling them to do? We just have to ask those questions. We just have to ask those questions. And you think that after the performance of the West Indies team in Perth, that Australia never felt any pressure in this match? Remember that last night match, although they said that 40,000 would come, 40,000 never turn up. But this was the highest crowd attendance at our first day's play of a West Indies cricket match between Australia at Adelaide since 1982. That means there were excitement in the match. That means Australia was under pressure. 007, you feel so? Okay, all right, Ian James. With these type of performances, we will only continue to get 2 test series once every 5 years from the Aussies. That is true. The first test performance was good, but they really fall off in the second test. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Please slash a like on the video, share and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day, and we hope for the best in tonight's second day's play. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Be good.